Content warning. This is a horror game. It is not intended for all audiences. Please visit our website, blacktabbygames.com, if you need a full list of content warnings. Slay the Princess contains flickering image effects as well as parallax effects that on rare occasions has caused motion sickness in players. If either of these cause health issues for you, you can disable them in the game's preferences. I, however, will not, because I want to give you guys the full experience. If that's a problem for you, you know. Whatever horrors you may find in these dark spaces, have heart and see them through. There are no premature endings. There are no wrong decisions. There are only fresh perspectives and new beginnings. This is a love story. Hello everyone, CMeeCraft here, and welcome to Slay the Princess. Apparently this is a horror game of some nature. I think it's a visual novel horror game. I've played a couple of those in my day. And so, yeah, we're just here to check it out. I honestly know basically nothing about it. I saw it because Steam, given that it's October, has their whole, like, ooh, we got the spooky games, and here's some new spooky games, and this was one of them, and I was like, you know what? Sure. We've, had a volcano princess that we raised, now it's Slay a Princess. How about that? Anyways, I suppose there's no reason to not just start the game now. Chapter 1. The Hero and the Princess.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
I almost feel like I don't need to be here. There's a full-on narrator.
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Oh, fascinating. I'm curious what the mechanics of that are specifically. Alright, I can explore. Oh, that's a cool little effect. You don't see that in most visual novels. See, you know just from that, the presentation, this is a bit of a cut above the rest, probably. Alright, I may explore the end of the world. What are you talking about? I may explore. Have you considered that maybe the only reason she's going to end the world is because she's locked up? Or I can say, killing a princess seems kind of bad, though, doesn't it? Oh my goodness, there are so many options! Whew! Okay, let's get into it. Okay. Can't someone else do this? Forget it, I'm not doing this. Have you considered that maybe I'm okay with the world ending? Do I get some sort of reward for doing this? Oh, okay. Thanks for telling me what to do. Sweet, I've always wanted to offer Monarch. Viva la Revolution! Silently continue to the cabin. Turn around and leave. I mean, given the weight of the task thrust upon my shoulders to kill royalty in order that the world may carry on, I think this is a task that is to be carried with silent stoicism as we venture towards the cabin.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any further.
Oh.
She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says.
Now that is, of course, assuming this narrator himself is a reliable source of information, which may not be the case. We actually don't have many details as to why this task is necessary. So I am suspicious of the very premise of our being here. So we'll see if the princess has good arguments for not dying. Oh, don't take that out of context. Oh, jeez.
We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them.
Okay.
Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
We have no choice here but to proceed into the cabin. Also, apparently this is a love story. That's what the opening said.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade.
Well, that's a little suspicious.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
I'll take the blade. It's always good to be armed, just in case. Though, the way it's just so conspicuously there, it's peculiar. If this were my task from the outset, Why did I not bring the blade on my person to begin with? Why am I relying, as, you know, an assassin, a hitman, why am I relying on randomly finding a blade just sitting in the vicinity of my quarry? It presents many questions, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, could probably strangle her if it came to it.
You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice carries up the stairs.
Who's there?
She sounds
I'm just
dangerous.
checking in on you.
It's almost as if she's
Routine.
in charge down here. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
They? I wonder who they is in this context.
Oh, it's been so long since anyone's come down here. I was starting to think they'd forgotten about me.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world? Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
What would give you that impression? Well, I mean, when you say something unprompted, then that's one of the options. I mean, you kind of have to press it. What were the other things? Okay, yeah, you got me. I'm here to slay you. No, I haven't decided yet. I'm just here to talk. Still your nerves and step forward. I mean, I'll go with what I basically said. What? No way! Why would you even think that?
Kind of gives it away, doesn't it?
The blade. Of course she doesn't want to talk. We
It's
want to have
just
a
a
conversation
precaution.
at knife point. We should drop it. Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her.
Oh.
Maybe she really is a monster, but killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us.
I mean, dropping the knife doesn't seem very wise. I mean, she's chained up there. She probably can't. Let's just put it this way. If she is capable of breaking free from those chains and picking up a knife on the floor that we've dropped, you know, out of the reach of the chains, then quite frankly, I think we have bigger problems at hand. So, for goodwill,
Blade
we'll set it
tumbles
down.
out of your trembling hands and drops to the floor with an unceremonious clang.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
Well, that's suspicious.
Against your better judgment,
I don't like the way it
you
goes.
step forward to speak with the princess face to face, unarmed. We'll be fine. I
Okay.
don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can assure you there's no reasoning with her. Just make sure you don't forget about the blade on the floor. You're going to need it.
So here
We'll see,
we are.
we'll see.
What an awkward start to a relationship.
A relationship? So, yeah, it's pretty awkward. A relationship? No, I mean, I realized that was earlier. Are you coming on? How would I get you out of here? I'm here because you're supposed to end the world. There's people who out there who think you're going to end the world. What do you have to say about that? What's your name? How long have you been down here? Do you know why I'm here to kill you? Okay, we've talked enough. And we'll start with what I literally said before
Don't
the
jump
options
to
came
any
up,
weird
so... yeah, you know.
conclusions. We're two people who have met each other. By definition, we have a relationship.
I mean, I guess in the most literal, clinical, definition, yes. But, colloquially, throwing that word around can bring up other connotations. I think I want to get more information at the whole she should end the world thing. The I'm here because you're supposed to end the world seems a bit strong. I kind of like the idea of there's people out there who think you're going to end the world. It's like the good old trick that, the news plays, where it's like, the news won't report, X happened if they aren't 100% sure. They'll just report people are saying X might have happened. And then, that's the story we're running. Forget the fact that other people are saying X didn't happen. We're running the story that people have said X has happened. And by X, I'm not referring to Twitter. That's just a variable in the sentence.
Tell her that.
Well, I'm trying to get info, narrator.
Is that why they threw me down here? But I don't want to hurt anyone. I like the world, I think.
I'm not sure why you need a qualifier
I
at the end
don't
of
remember
that
much about
sentence.
it, to be honest. I've been down here a long time.
Just how long has she been down here?
If I'm supposed to be capable of ending the world, then how did I wind up here, chained to a wall? Have they told you why I'm allegedly so dangerous?
They have not. Okay, so I can deflect. What are you going to do if I let you out of here? I've been told enough. I was hoping you'd tell me. No, but I'm sure they have their reasons for keeping that information secret from me. No, and if I'm being honest, I'm more inclined to trust you than I'm inclined to trust them, or remain silent. We'll go with that. I was hoping you'd tell me.
Like an awful lot for just one person to do. I wouldn't even know where to start.
I believe her. She doesn't have to know how to destroy the world to be capable of doing it.
That's an interesting sort of thing to bring up there, right? So, for example, say you're building a nuclear bomb and you have, uranium as one of the components of it. The uranium itself doesn't know how it's going to cause destruction. Nevertheless, it is a component in doing so. Same can apply to people. She can be an unwitting pawn in a plan which she does not have knowledge of.
At the end of the day, whatever the two of us have going on down here is about trust. Whoever sent you to slay me claimed I was a threat to the world, but they didn't tell you why. That doesn't sound right to me. And I don't think it sounds right to you either. Otherwise, we'd be killing each other instead of talking.
She's starting to psychoanalyze me. Perhaps I've let too much slip.
There's a reason I've been telling you to question the situation, and there's a reason you've listened.
So, I could tell you that I'd lead a quiet life in the woods, or that I'd open an orphanage, or that I'd do any other number of good things that I'm sure you think you want to hear. But you don't really know me, do you? What can my word possibly be worth in a situation like this?
It's true. Nothing she's
right
saying
about
is
one
incorrect.
thing. Her word isn't worth anything.
But neither is yours, narrator. You've given me no reason to trust you intrinsically either. Granted, no one here has yet given me a reason to distrust them explicitly, but still that leaves us at an equal sort of impasse.
I said, it's all about trust. Blind trust. So do you trust me, the prisoner, the victim, the princess clearly incapable of ending the world? Or do you trust whoever put me here?
She's wrong. This isn't about trust. This is about risk. We stand to lose everything, all for the sake of one person, and a subjugating monarch no less.
See, now this is an interesting sort of appeal. It's an appeal to the continuation of the status quo, right? She has been locked in this dungeon here for who knows how long, and the world has gone on fine, right? By freeing her, we would be disrupting the status quo. And when the status quo is already working out fairly well, a disruption is an inherent risk. Fascinating. Fascinating. Let's see. How would I get you out of here? What's your name? How long have you been down here? Okay, we've talked enough. Let's ask her name
before answering.
I mean, it's not really relevant information, but I think that could help build a bit more rapport between us.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness, or Her Majesty. Any honorific should do, really.
I mean, are you really in a position to demand such treatment, given your current circumstance?
Again, she offers no specifics. No matter how hard you try, you'll never get a straight answer out of her.
How long have you been down here?
Too long.
I mean, even slightly more specific would be useful. Are we talking weeks? Are we talking months? Are we talking years? Are we talking decades? Are you some sort of strange, deity that's been locked here for millennia? Right? The exact time frame of your imprisonment is actually quite relevant, especially if we are referring back to the status quo defense. If this is a status quo that has only existed for a week and the world was fine before this status quo were established, then that would lean towards potentially unlocking you. However, if this is the case, that maybe you're some thousands of year old deity that's been locked up for several millennia, then that means the entirety of human civilization has risen and prospered over the course of your imprisonment, in which case this is a status quo that the very foundations of society and civilization could be resting upon. So some more specifics would be very helpful. Okay, well, let's just talk theoretically, right? If I were to decide to spare you, how would I get you out of here?
You can't. Don't bother.
I'm guessing you don't have the key then. I'm sure there's a key somewhere around here, and if there isn't, well, we can always put that knife to good use.
Her sharp eyes settle on the edge of the blade.
I mean, I don't think it would quite be the tool for the job to cut chains. Probably not small enough to pick locks. I'm not quite sure what you're implying.
She isn't suggesting what I think she's suggesting, right? She is. I'm sure of it.
That's enough talk. I guess we're gonna have to come to some decisions.
Have you decided what to do with me?
You know.
When you put it that way,
it
it seems kind of cruel, the position I've been put in, but such is life. But I don't know why I'm here. Let's table it for now. I'm going to keep you locked away down here, at least for a bit. We can get to know each other better while I decide what to do.
That seems like a pretty good compromise.
Yeah.
Leaving her alive is too risky. If you don't deal with her soon, she will find a way out.
And surely, if she's as powerful as you claim, she would have found a way out already, yeah?
One way or another, I'm going to find a way out of here. You can make it easier for both of us if you help.
Now that is an interesting change in tone.
And if you don't, I can promise that you'll come to regret that decision.
You have to make a choice. Let's hope for all our sakes it's the right one.
Okay, I can slay the princess, get her out of here, or keep her locked up. And keeping her locked up would be the ultimate appeal to the status quo. And ultimately this is a very interesting sort of philosophical question, right? We have a claim, because on the one hand you have the old claim of, the needs of the many versus the needs of the few, right? Is one person's freedom worthy of potentially sacrificing the whole world? just from a purely like pragmatic perspective, no. But then we add on top of that potentially unreliable narrators, right? We don't know for certain who here is actually telling the truth. We don't know. The narrator has not actually backed up his claims that the world is going to end with evidence. And if we appeal to, say, the framework of the legal system, right, innocent until proven guilty. Given that we are potentially going to be putting the death penalty on this princess, it would state then that we need evidence beyond a reasonable doubt before we can go about killing her, that killing her is actually correct, that she is guilty of the crime of being about to end the world, which we don't, at least don't have in our possession really much strong evidence other than the word of some guy that has no proven track record one way or the other. On the other hand, she is already locked up here. Someone did that, and they presumably had a reason. But we have no idea what that reason could have been. It could have been a morally justifiable reason. She might be locked up because she was going to end the world, or she might have been locked up because, like, her uncle got power hungry and decided that he wanted the throne for himself. We could just be an unwitting pawn in some run-of-the-mill standard, medieval politics. And I think given all the uncertainty, especially when we weigh with all of this, the fact that if we kill her, murder is in and of itself, like, inherently immoral, right? If she's innocent of any claims of, ending the world, then to kill an innocent person would be inherently immoral. So you put that on the scales. Whereas helping a guilty person isn't as immoral, at the very least, I would think, right? Especially when you consider, again, going back to the legal system, it's not considered immoral for a lawyer to help a criminal defendant get off on their charges, even if the lawyer actually knows that the criminal is guilty. Everyone's entitled to a defense. So I think weighing all of that together, in this circumstance, I think I would rather side with the princess versus this narrator who is an unproven authority figure asking me to do something inherently immoral, if his underlying claims, which he has not yet proven, prove to be false. We're gonna let her out, and hopefully I will not regret it.
Oh, for the love of...
Good. I'm glad you've come to your senses.
You're making a huge mistake.
Your tone could use a little work, Princess. It would be a lot easier to decide on this if you were a bit, nicer, a bit more bubbly, maybe. I don't know.
No, you're doing the right thing. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
If you don't have the key, maybe you should go looking for it. I'm sure it's somewhere upstairs.
Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here...
And there didn't seem to be
intended for
much
her to
upstairs, so
never
I
see
can
the
have
light
a
of
look.
day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabin.
Okay, so I can ask, and if there isn't a key, do you have any ideas besides me cutting you out of here? Or I'm going to check upstairs. Maybe the key's still lying around somewhere up there. If not, maybe I can at least find something to break you free. We'll worry about contingencies if a contingency is necessary. We're just gonna go find this key.
I'll be here.
Alright, well, it'd be difficult for you to be anywhere else.
You attempt to make your way out of the basement, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut. You hear the click of a lock sliding into place.
Now that is curious.
Is someone else here?
Why would... We gotta try the door at least, right?
You try the door, but it's locked from the outside. You're here to slay the princess, and you won't leave until the task is done.
This is fascinating. It would seem that the narrator himself is now becoming entangled in the events of the story. I bet he is actually an entity with some sort of will in this world. Perhaps a deity of some sort. And is now causing things to fall into place to leave us no choice other than to slay the princess. This is in and of itself making me more suspicious. If what he asked for was indeed just, he'd have to do no more than to provide the evidence of his plan being right. If it is unjust, however, he has little recourse other than sheer force, which seems to be what is being employed here. I think it would be... Let's not call out. I assume whatever entity locked the door is not friendly. Maybe the princess has an idea.
You make your way back to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd simply slain her like you were supposed to.
Yeah, I'm starting to get like some Stanley Parable vibes with this game. It's quite nice.
Easier for whom? Easier for everyone.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
Yeah.
The knife. Pick it up and cut me out of here.
You sure?
You won't like what happens if you do that.
Cut her out of here as in like sever an arm? So she's no longer trapped? I mean, she's put a lot of trust in us here, allowing us to bring the knife to her like that. And I don't trust this narrator. We're saving this princess.
Against your better judgment, you place the blade against the princess's arm, just above the massive, unyielding chain. You
I'm
cut
sorry
into
that
her
to go
flesh.
like this, princess.
The blade is sharp, and you make quick work of it. Before long, you're able to crack through bone, and she pulls the bleeding stub of her arm through the iron gauntlet. She didn't so much as utter a sound.
Yes, desperate times call for desperate measures. Though we're still stuck in the basement now. Unless she's got some sort of powers or abilities to help us get out of here.
Free from her bindings, the princess turns to face you, her fierce gaze meeting your eye. How is she so composed after losing an
Well, they
arm?
do say women have higher
It's like
pain
she isn't even
tolerance.
bothered by it.
Narrator, I feel like you're being a bit biased in the manner in which you're describing the events unfurling here.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
You're welcome. Can you open the locked door?
No, we won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No, I just can't let her escape into the world. As the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade.
No, I did not consent to this.
Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just do that. Watch me.
No. Warner.
Stop that.
I thought this was a little too easy.
Your body lunges forward to sink the blade into her back, but the princess swiftly moves out of the way before you can connect. Stop it! Stop resisting me. I am trying to get you out of here alive.
I don't believe you. Okay, we're resisting.
The blade. Move the
No!
blade.
You're doing your best to help me, aren't you? I can see the conflict
Yes,
in your
please.
eyes.
What?
I'll make this quick.
No, what do you mean by that?
She steps forward and pries the blade from your rigid hands.
Also, what
Maybe
the
I'll
heck is
see
going
you
on
in
with my
another
hands?
life.
Like, look at that. I look like a monster. Jeez.
And then she slits your throat.
No, don't kill me. Don't
almost
kill me. I was trying to help.
painless. face remains unchanged as she watches you collapse to the ground, blood flowing from your butchered neck.
This is the end, isn't it?
Narrator! You did this!
Everything goes
She
dark.
defended herself in self-defense because you, took me over, man! This isn't fair! Chapter 2. The Prisoner.
You're on a path in the
This
woods.
is fascinating.
And at
Then
the
do you
end
need
of
to,
that
go and
path
restart
is
it
a
just...
cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.